Hello, I'm Henderson reporting live from Bryan County, Georgia. The air here, normally filled with the sounds of progress and construction, is now heavy with the weight of an unprecedented event. We are at the very heart of what was to be a beacon of economic partnership, the Hyundai LG Energy Solution battery plant. But the dream of this joint venture has been shaken to its core by a massive U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) raid. Hundreds of Korean skilled workers, the very backbone of this advanced manufacturing project, were detained and deported. This isn't just an isolated incident of immigration enforcement, it's a political and economic firestorm with global implications. Today we'll dive deep into this crisis to understand its origins, the players involved, and the potential fallout for international relations and the global economy. This is a story of political maneuvering, economic fragility, and the very real human cost of international policy. Let's get to the bottom of today's point. The spark that ignited this firestorm was a single report. It came from a local female Republican politician who accused the Hyundai plant of exclusively hiring Korean workers, overlooking American labor. Her motive was clear: to leverage a highly charged immigration and jobs issue for political gain. This report set the stage for the U.S. government's initial, seemingly passive response. The Trump administration's aggressive immigration policies had already created an environment ripe for such action. The raid, far from being a simple law enforcement operation, was a calculated political move. The local representative, a strong Trump supporter, used this event to showcase his and his party's tough stance on immigration and to politically weaken a key Democratic figure, Senator Jon Ossoff, who championed the project. The U.S. government's initial reluctance to address the issue head-on was a result of this political calculus, as any public acknowledgement could have been seen as undermining their own enforcement agencies. On the other side of the Pacific, the response from South Korea was swift and resolute. President Lee Jae-myung, known for his firm resolve on matters of national interest, showed an unwavering and decisive stance in response to press inquiries. His tough response was a direct message to both his domestic audience and the international community. South Korea would not stand idly by while its citizens and national interests were treated with disrespect. His firm approach was aimed at upholding national pride and signaling that the new Korean administration would prioritize a strong, independent foreign policy. However, as the incident gained global attention, a new problem emerged for the U.S. Other foreign companies, wary of the unpredictable political climate and the risks associated with investing in the U.S., began to express hesitation. The sudden chill in foreign direct investment sent shockwaves through the American economy, which had been heavily banking on foreign capital for its manufacturing ambitions. Faced with the very real possibility of losing billions in future investments, the U.S. government's attitude suddenly shifted. They changed their tune, expressing a willingness to reconsider the deportation orders and even to welcome back the very same workers they had just expelled. This stunning reversal, however, has been met with a torrent of criticism. American citizens are questioning the integrity of their government's actions, seeing it as a weak flip-flop under economic pressure. Meanwhile, Koreans and citizens from around the world are expressing outrage, viewing the U.S. as a hypocritical nation that disregards its own laws and principles when it is no longer convenient. This moment marks a significant loss of global credibility for the U.S. The controversy has been a major topic of discussion among American and international influencers, who have offered a wide range of opinions and analyses on the matter. Most of their commentary has been highly critical of both the U.S. government's handling of the situation and, by extension, the Trump-era policies that created the framework for such a raid. For many, this incident is a clear example of the U.S. government prioritizing political theater over long-term economic stability. Influencers and political commentators on platforms like YouTube and Twitter have pointed out that the raid was a short-term win for hardline immigration advocates, but a long-term disaster for the American manufacturing sector. They argue that the U.S. government, particularly under the influence of Trump's America First ideology, has created an unpredictable and hostile environment for foreign investment. They question why any company, foreign or domestic, would commit billions of dollars to a country where a simple visa issue can lead to a multi-billion-dollar project being crippled overnight. The discussion also turns to the future of foreign investment. Many influencers are now openly asking what the US government will do if other international corporations, spooked by the incident, decide to take their business elsewhere. The consensus among these commentators is that the US will be forced to make significant concessions. They believe the only way to restore trust and attract new investment is to not only offer more favorable terms, like tax breaks and subsidies, but also to fundamentally change the way it handles immigration and labor issues related to foreign companies. The prevailing sentiment is that the US government must choose: does it want to be a global manufacturing hub, or does it want to maintain a hardline political stance? The influencers argue that it can't have it both ways and that its recent flip-flop on the deported workers proves this point. The analysis provided by these influencers shows a clear picture. The US government's actions were short-sighted and politically motivated, and the damage to its reputation as a safe and reliable place to invest may be long-lasting. This crisis exposes a critical vulnerability for the United States. The US is surprisingly weak in the advanced manufacturing sector, particularly in areas like electric vehicle batteries, a field where South Korea is a global leader. This dependency on foreign expertise is the very reason why Hyundai and LG had to bring in their skilled workers in the first place. This situation leads to a powerful what-if scenario. What if a geopolitical rival, a nation with strained relations with the US, like China or Russia, were to step in with a massive offer of support to Korea? Imagine a world where a Chinese state-owned company offers to build a new factory in Korea, providing all the necessary capital and technology while promising a stable, politics-free partnership. If Korea were to accept such a deal, it would be a monumental humiliation for the US on the world stage. Such a move would expose America's inability to foster a stable environment for its allies and would be a powerful testament to the failure of its diplomatic and economic policies. The US would be seen as having alienated a key ally and driven it directly into the arms of its competitors. The international community would watch as the self-proclaimed leader of the free world was unable to retain the trust and partnership of a crucial economic partner. In such a dire situation, what would be the US's response? They would likely be forced into a desperate scramble to mend fences. They might offer even more generous incentives such as massive financial aid, new trade agreements, or even military assistance. But these actions would be seen as a reactive, desperate measure, an attempt to bribe an ally back after having insulted them. This would only further erode American credibility. The US risks losing its position as the world's preeminent leader and becoming a cautionary tale of a nation whose internal political squabbles led to a global diplomatic and economic embarrassment. The question is no longer whether the US will regain its footing, but whether it can avoid a complete fall from grace. We have seen how a single political action can cause a ripple effect that shakes international relations and global economies. The path forward is clear, but it requires humility and a recognition of a simple truth. The US cannot lead by force or by hypocrisy. It must lead by example. For the US-Korea relationship to heal and grow stronger, the US must take the first step. They must extend an honest hand of apology to South Korea. This apology shouldn't be a mere formality. It should be a sincere admission of wrongdoing that acknowledges the political miscalculation that led to the incident. But an apology is not enough. As the world's most powerful nation, the US must offer substantial support and bonuses to Korea. This could include new trade agreements, a promise of streamlined processes for Korean workers, or even a commitment to joint R&D projects. These actions would not only mend a strained relationship but would also signal to the rest of the world that the US is a partner that can be trusted, a nation that honors its commitments and values its allies. This is not about political gamesmanship, it is about acting as a true global leader. It's time for the US to stop playing politics with its allies and to start showing the respect and support that its global leadership demands. We must all take this time to seriously consider what it means to be a true leader on the world stage. This has been Henderson for today's point.